Hey, what's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here. Take a look at this. We have a special guest. Oh snap! It's Eric.
Hey guys, what's going on?
All right, man. So you've been asking for a while. When are we gonna do another Jay and Eric co-op special? And here we are. Eric came up for Mother's Day, and we are excited to talk about the next big thing in the Marvel Universe, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and we've both seen it. And here we are. We're going to go ahead and talk about it. So first things first, the movie is in theaters now, and it's got our favorite Avengers with a couple new characters here and there. Just a ballpark general idea, like without like a total review, but how did you feel about the movie overall, Eric?
I thought it was really good. It was just on par with the first one.
So just on par. Do you feel like it was basically, on par, exactly like you said, right?
It was exactly what I expected. It didn't, like, to me, it really didn't.
Okay. And I think that's a fair assessment because I feel the same way. I feel like in some ways it was more interesting, in some ways it wasn't. Ultron versus Loki as the central kind of bad guy villains. I felt like Loki was a little more interesting. Although, as far as Ultron goes, I think he just had more to do at his disposal. Now, I don't know what my perception of what I thought Ultron was going to be like was, but I'm not sure I thought it was going to be the way that James Spader portrayed him. How did you feel about, like, the way James Spader portrayed Ultron?
It was. I wasn't expecting a regular.
It's that hero.
I mean, don't get me wrong. James Spader did a great job, what he did, but it's just, I felt more. I was expecting more of like a robotic, cold voice, not a like very human style.
Watch it, buddy.
I felt it should be more like robotic.
That's cool.
No, the one I kind of yes and no there. I kind of agree with that. But would you say you would think you would have expected the same thing from Vision?
Yeah.
And more of like, but do you feel like Jarvis, like the voice of Jarvis, it's the same as it has been? Paul Bettany. It was the same that it has been in the other movies that he's been in. Would you say that is a robotic sounding voice?
Well, if you listen to Jarvis, he has kind of a strained voice, like almost like a digitization.
And you don't feel like they did that?
And when he became the Vision,
right.
Which is what happens. He's always adapted.
It's pretty small.
Ultron busted out as Spader.
Isn't he amazing?
Now, obviously, I probably should have prefaced this a little bit earlier. There are definitely going to be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to hang tight and watching this one. So I thought, honestly, like, James Spader is, like, the consummate professional. He's definitely one of those guys that, is going to bring any movie he's in up a notch. Or TV show. I haven't like watched Blacklist very much, but I swear to God, every single person I know has been just raving about it to me, telling me I need to watch it, and that he's like the reason for it. So I thought I didn't expect like the comedic tone of Ultron. And maybe that's just because I look at Ultron and I say, oh, robot, you know?
I wasn't, like I said, it was kind of more human. Very funny.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of amusing. He almost didn't seem like a man.
Exactly. And that's like what I definitely wasn't expecting from the movie. And I thought Ultron was really cool. I thought they did a good job of, his animation and stuff like that. And, it's really cool. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was looking at IMDb for like the CGI actor who actually was wearing the CGI suit during the filming of the movie, and it's actually a dude I went to high school with, Neil Fingleton, McDonald's All-American basketball player. He's 7'6" from England. I know nobody cares
Oh,
about
I know
CGI.
that.
Yeah, man. When I was a senior in high school, he was a junior. He ended up going to the University of North Carolina on a basketball scholarship. Hurt his back, ended up in Holy Cross, and you know, he's turned to acting. He was actually in Game of Thrones as one of the giants in season 4. So he's been doing some stuff, and so yeah, I thought that was really cool. I just wanted to add that in there. But you know, I feel like Ultron looked the part. I wasn't sure how the twins were gonna play a role into it. We'll get into that in a moment. Hulkbuster versus Hulk, since we got that going on. What did you think about the battle? How they pulled it off? How they did it?
I liked. Very entertaining to watch. You know, basically straight out of the what and watch on the old cartoon.
Did Tony Stark usually call it Veronica? It's a little ad lib onto there. Oh yeah.
He never. I don't remember if he ever really. The code names were all.
I gotcha. Well, the marks and everything
Yeah.
were not. Those are legit. Like, but yeah, I thought that battle was awesome. I thought the armor looked awesome.
But what I liked was there was a slight nod. Hulk, if you really pay attention, there was some discoloration right at the beginning. He looked a lot more like the Gray Hulk. Right at the beginning, his skin pigment. He went from like dark green to slightly grayish. Comic, originally gray, but they had a hard time doing it.
Not cool.
Eventually, they made us a gray Hulk. You know, I thought that was a pretty cool, like, it's one of those things that if you're really.
All right, so the two new Avengers for the movie. Obviously, we've got our carryover Avengers from the last movie. We have Iron Man, we have Hulk, we have Captain America, we have Hawkeye, we have Thor, and we have Black Widow. You also, early on, you see, you know, a nod to Falcon. You see a nod to War Machine, who is War Machine, not Iron Patriot, which I'm very happy about. So, I mean, you see these teasings of those guys being involved, which is cool because they've been involved in the other movies. You know, Sam Wilson is like, yeah, I'm not the avenging type. I'll keep looking for your cold case. Obviously, talking about searching for the Winter Soldier. You know, that was a really cool little piece. So yeah, I thought that was really awesome. But you know, obviously, they were going to be bringing in Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver for this. Now, Scarlet Witch is Elizabeth Olsen, and Quicksilver, Aaron Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor. Yeah, I was going to say he's hyphenated. I thought he was great as Quicksilver. I actually personally preferred him to the kid that played him in X-Men.
Yeah, I think like he portrayed the arrogant. You know, everybody knows he's kind of in the comics he's kind of a dick. You know, and he's very.
Oh, he's very much a dick.
He's a dick. He's a snobby little brat. He's above everybody.
Yeah.
Well, not totally, but he was kind of like you see in the beginning when he was talking to Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, oh,
You didn't see this coming.
You didn't see it coming, yeah. And he said it was such a snide remark that it's kind of like, oh, dude. But yeah, then he kind of turns into a pretty cool guy towards.
Yeah. So obviously, I guess we'll...
and I like the costume.
That guy doesn't.
I'm sorry?
And I like the costume.
I did like the costume. Now, see, here's the before we get into the major spoiler about Quicksilver, I want to say what's frustrating about the way they were portrayed and completely not their fault was, you know, the fact that Fox owns the right to move. So they had abilities, you know, they weren't mutants.
Yeah, they're not called mutants.
Yeah.
And there's also an agreement between both movies that neither one can be the child of
more like
Magneto.
Hunk.
Yeah, so, you know, it's the Maximoffs, that's what they kept calling them. But, you know, we all sit here and know, oh, the Maximoffs, Magneto's kids, you know? But, I don't know, like, I feel like it's a little frustrating that Marvel has themselves in that position. And, you know, the X-Men can't live in a world with Avengers and stuff like that. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. We're all kind of used to it at this point.
We'll probably never see it in our lifetime.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Spider-Man thing, you know, could have brought us a little bit closer. So let's go ahead and talk about Scarlet Witch. I was interested to see how they would tie in her abilities. And, how do you feel about it? I mean, I feel like she could have been portrayed much. You have to like double tap and hold Y. I feel like they could have portrayed her so much differently. Like I feel like they made her very powerful, but she could have been even more powerful.
Well, I mean, she is extremely powerful. If you pay attention to the comics,
No more mutants.
yeah, she pretty much wiped out a lot of 90% of the mutants
Yeah.
because she got pissed off. And she's basically got the powers to alter reality. She fell in love with Vision, an android. They got married, which is a little weird, but then again, today's age. And then somehow produced kids, which they're like, okay, how is that possible? Quicksilver thought it was. All in all, so she's got high level power.
And I understand that they're just kind of introducing her and everything like that. I did find it interesting to see the way they worked him in. Baron Strucker basically had been in possession of them and teaching them for years, obviously corrupting them a little bit. And she's got her hexing abilities. She definitely, you know, she would get into the minds of some of the different Avengers. It was interesting to see how some of her little mind tricks are kind of like, you know, I feel like when she got into Thor's head, it was almost like a prediction of Ragnarok, which is the next Thor movie. So I mean, I definitely feel like there's a lot of things that you know, that they really established with her. So I really thought Elizabeth Olsen did a good job. I don't know what it was, like when there was an accent for Quicksilver, I expected it, but I don't know why I always just expected Scarlet Witch just to not have an accent. You know, it's Wanda Maximoff, for crying out loud. But I wasn't expecting her to have an accent, and it obviously worked.
They're also German.
Yeah, I mean, well, they created their own little country for them, but whatever. Also, you know, there's a little bit of tease of her relationship with Vision, which was now, I guess let's get right down to the Vision. And, you know, you go most of the movie, everybody's expecting Vision to be involved, and then he kind of comes into the play, and I liked it and everything, but, like, I felt like I expected to see a little bit more of Vision, and what I really, really loved about it was the scene where he does come into play. And it's basically, it's the start of Civil War, effectively. You know, you've got Stark and Rogers going at it, and, you know, completely in disagreement. And, bye, Eric. What'd you do? Did the controller die? Oh, there you go.
Your Xbox stuff.
No. Nothing Xbox. But, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're about to, like, basically destroy the... Let me turn the Xbox off.
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Because we're talking bad about Vision.
Yeah. Well, we can't play without... Well, that was frustrating. So we'll keep talking here. So then Thor just comes out of nowhere, and boom, he's like, "Yeah, let there be vision."
Yep.
And then like I don't know, like I love that scene because you know Vision comes flying out, and what the mother heck? All right, can you load a game? All right, we're gonna stop the video, and we're gonna figure this out. All right, yeah. So sorry about that, guys. No idea what happened there, but I think it's kind of funny. We're gonna go with it. But what were we talking about when we ended? We were talking about Vision.
Yeah, we're talking about Vision.
The scene where Thor and Vision kind of hook up. You know, it'd be awesome if Vision was in this game. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, but they're not. They'll be in the next one. Marvel's The Avengers for sure. So yeah, that scene was really cool. Thor just kind of comes in. He's like, "Yo, I got this. Everybody chill. Let them figure things out. All right, we're good here." And
I wish Thor would have said it like that.
Right. Instead, he said nothing. And because he's Thor, and he is the god of gods, he basically puts one finger up. Everybody stares at him and says, "Okay, we'll trust you." And boom, he was right. One of my favorite scenes of the movie, though, is right in that section where Vision just kind of looks at Thor, looks at his cape, and then boom, builds himself a cape. You didn't appreciate that? Aww. Aww, run away, Iron Tin Man.
I thought it was pretty cool. He's like, "Oh man, I want."
I mean, who doesn't want a cape?
I'll trip over it.
So yeah, I mean, I just wasn't really expecting Vision to play. Or I'm sorry, I was expecting Vision to be a little bit more, but when he's in there, he definitely has some memorable moments. I love the way he basically ends Ultron at the end. Yeah, that was pretty cool. What I didn't like is when he lifted Thor's hammer.
Worthy.
How? He's not worthy. How is he worthy?
An android.
Yeah.
Pure intention.
I just don't.
Just like Captain America could.
You know, I know they gave that away in a trailer and everything. Are you driving the bus?
Driving.
That's awesome.
Obviously, right. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I appreciate that they gave that scene away in the trailer and everything. But that was a really, really cool scene. I loved the parts where they were at that party. I loved Thor's scene with Stan Lee, where he's basically this is a 1,000-year-old, you know, aged Asgardian ale. You can't handle it. And Stan Lee is like, "Psh, yeah, give it to me." And then they had to carry him out. He couldn't handle it. No. But yeah, that was really cool. I love the way they teased Wakanda. But I guess ultimately my disappointment is that this could have been a lot more. And some of that falls on Joss Whedon. Some of that falls on Marvel Comics in general. I know that he wanted to get Captain Marvel involved, I feel like he wanted to get Black Panther involved. I feel like they could have had those two a little more involved. They could have had Spider-Man, like they worked out the deal. Like they don't need somebody to be in the suit. They could have worked him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know they still don't have a new Spider-Man, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you don't do all that work without trying to get them in the movie. I kind of would have liked to, like that end scene where basically, you know, Iron Man is driving away and he's turning everything over to Captain America, and you're left with this new Avengers with Scarlet Witch, Vision, War Machine, Black Widow, and Falcon. You know, that was a little underwhelming. You know, obviously there's going to be more Avengers, and I feel like Captain America Civil War is actually turning into Avengers 2.5. You know, it would have been interesting to see them have, you know, Black or Winter Soldier, you know, them finding him somehow and having him tied in at the end. It would have been interesting to have somebody in a Spider-Man suit there, you know, or even just have him like show up and crack a joke, you know,
exactly.
like having Black Panther stand there and having, you know, I just feel like they could have worked more in. I know that they definitely established a lot of things, but you know, you don't need a huge backstory to have Captain Marvel involved, you know. I felt like it would have been really cool if there could have been some kind of Guardians of the Galaxy, like, cameo of some sort. I don't know, like, I feel like this movie could have been so much more, and instead it was just another Avengers movie, you know? Like, it didn't feel as special as watching the first one did. And it's not because it's a bad movie, it's just because it's the same people all over again. And the best part about the Avengers is the constant evolution of the team, adding more members. And yeah, you add 3. Well, no, you don't even add 3 because Quicksilver dies.
Oh, spoiler.
Yeah, well, alright, so we told you there would be spoilers, and that's the major one. Like, what the heck? And here's the thing, and I've read some interviews with Josh Whedon. He's like, no, this needs to be real, you know, there needs to be consequences. And they're the Avengers, that's what they do, you know? Like, they're supposed to make it out. So it's a little frustrating that now all of a sudden Quicksilver's dead. And who knows, maybe... No, they didn't, like, show him buried, so I guess there's theoretically the possibility that he could show back up. But I don't agree with that. Like, killing off a character like that in the movie, you know. I don't know, that... I think that's part of... If they didn't kill off Quicksilver, I think I might have felt a little bit differently at the end. It just feels like that was... Like, I could deal with the shock of a character dying and stuff like that. I just don't feel like it served a purpose. You know what I mean?
It served a purpose to piss.
Yeah.
Right, but we're not going that route, though, you know?
Superhero.
Like, we're not going the no more mutants, because there are no mutants, you know? So, you don't really need to piss her off. They were going to be Avengers anyway.
Well, Quicksilver, as much as he's been an Avenger for a while, he's constantly... He's never been a consistent.
Not cool.
Right.
You know, he was there for a while. He left.
Well, here's the thing. Joss Whedon is done with the Avengers now. Like, his run is over. You know, Infinity Gauntlet is going to get turned over. Exactly. So, you know, I don't see why they can't just find a way to work him back in. You know, I mean, it's a comic book movie. We've all seen... I'm sorry?
Nobody died.
Exactly. So, like, we can all they can just kind of come up with some voodoo, magic, hex stuff. And
Maybe Scarlet Witch resurrects him.
Yeah, something crazy like Scarlet Witch. The reason why she lost her concentration when she was holding back the Ultrons was because she was throwing a hex on him. They didn't show him completely dead at the end. So yeah, I don't know. Like that was part of the rub you the wrong way. Don't get me wrong. The movie is fantastic. It's a great it's a great flick. Maybe I went into it with expectations of wanting it to be like greatest ever. Maybe my expectations were too high, and instead I just set myself up for a little bit of disappointment. But I don't know. Like I just felt like it wasn't mind blowing in the way that I thought it would be. Like a huge jump from the first. Instead it was just an extension of the first.
Exactly.
It's kind of like Call of Duty switching place every year, or maybe a better one is Madden, because not everybody likes Call of Duty. So it's like Madden 15 to Madden 16. It's a roster update.
Basically.
Yeah. So
that's all it felt like. I feel any more real.
Yeah. So I mean, they could have done a little bit more with it, but all in all, good movie. I would say 8.5 out of 10.
I would give it a.
Yeah, I fight with that. I if you get me in a different mood, maybe I would say 9. It's fantastic. It's well made. You're gonna love it. If you're a comic book fan, you are definitely going to love it. It sets things up for a lot of other movies. Civil War is coming. Captain America: Civil War. Thor Ragnarok gets set up where Heimdall, completely out of uniform, has his vision with Thor. So Thor Ragnarok kind of gets set up. There's no more Iron Man movies, but
he's going to be.
Yeah, so I mean, Ulysses Claw,
he got set up for Captain
America, and for a Black Panther movie. Because they are in Wakanda doing the whole vibranium thing. So, I mean, all in all, just definitely a... Pepper was not in the movie. So, must not have been able to get Paltrow for that. I definitely feel like they set it up really well. And,
you only get even for...
Right. So, I would love to know what you guys think. I know we kind of like rambled on, and I'm sure we missed some things. Oh my gosh, you're right. What the heck was that?
Hawkeye. I mean, all right. First of all, he's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like he got a.
That guy doesn't look so good.
He's played by a great actor.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner is great.
But he kind of felt like, they're making fun of him in the first movie. However, in this movie, it's over.
Yeah, he gets like a backstory that makes no sense.
It never made sense.
No sense.
Apparently, he's a family man.
No way.
And with multiple kids. I don't think they're all his kids. I think they're like he's having. But
what was her name? Laura. You know what would have? I could have bought it if they said her name was Kate. No, Bishop. I don't know, like something like that, Or yeah, Mockingbird, sure. But then they would have had to have what's her name?
from
From Agents of Shield. Plackey, Anna Plackey, or Adrian Plackey. Palicki, whatever. Okay. They would have had to have her. So, because they were married at one point, right?
They were married at one point.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like that whole. Like, I like Joss Whedon a lot, and I guess, like, there's this one interview that I was just reading about, like, him talking about some of his frustrations after the movie, and him talking about Quicksilver dying and stuff. Like, I understand that you want to, like, put your own spin on things, but at some point you have to respect the source material.
Yeah.
And that's kind of always my argument when there's, like, a race change, or a sex change, or something like that in these movies. Like, you're turning Hawkeye into just a... And granted, they've kind of done that all along, because Hawkeye is sort of like...
Growing up.
Yeah, he's definitely a little immature, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Immature is the word. So like, he's been very serious through it all. So they've definitely kind of like taken liberties with Hawkeye every step of the way. But I don't know, man. Like the whole having a family thing, and then I guess another thing like that a lot of people are upset about, and it's always rubbed me the wrong way. I said this after Captain America, the Winter Soldier, especially. Black Widow as like a whore, you know? Like I feel like that's kind of like what they're making her out to be. She's always hitting on somebody, and like she's always like, I don't know, like I don't like they got her and Bruce Banner trying to hook up.
Never.
Right, like I don't get it. Like why did we need that aspect, you know?
Well, she's the contingency.
I get that, but like it's not if it wasn't her, it was Captain America, and he even referenced it. Oh, if she was flirting, you'd know it, you know, blah blah blah. Or I've seen her flirt a lot, you know. And then who was she hitting on in the first Avengers? Her and Hawkeye, of course.
Yeah, she had a thing. Well, Black Widow's kind of.
Watch it.
Maybe I missed it, but I don't actually remember.
She's a slut in the comics.
Is she?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then maybe I take it back, but I don't know.
Slept around.
Okay. So she's like the Earth Gamora, if you will.
Basically.
Okay.
Because in the comics, she's always been linked to Hawkeye and Captain America. Wolverine's a whore. But you know, she's been around.
Okay, well then maybe I'm wrong there, but I just never really. I always took her as a very cerebral and serious character, you know.
Well, I mean, she is, but then again, you know, she can have fun.
Yeah, I think she does anything.
I'm pretty sure she's the one that broke Captain America's virginity. Because he is a virgin. An 80-year-old.
Language. So, yeah. Never gonna live that one down. I felt like there's one other thing that we missed an opportunity on.
To kick back to Hawkeye, I mean, like I said, he was given in the first movie, and then he's a total badass. Like, he's one of the reasons why Ultron.
Right.
He was like the driving force. In a way, this was like Hawkeye. His redemption.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, there was definitely some missed opportunity overall. And I mean, this is a movie that could have been a 10. It was really close to being a 10. I feel like I'm glad Joss Whedon's done. I feel like he did a good job for us. But I'm glad to get some perspective on the Avengers. Obviously, the after the credits scene has to do with Thanos. You guys can kind of check that out on your own. Definitely sets up the Infinity Wars movies. But you know, I really hope. Maybe this is why, you know, knowing that Infinity Wars is coming, maybe this is why I just expected this movie to have so many more characters. Because yes, between now and the Infinity War movie, there are going to be a few movies, but like unless they're establishing more characters, you know, in the Black Panther movie other than Black Panther, and the same thing with Captain Marvel, like unless they're introducing somebody other than Captain Marvel, I just don't really know what they're going to do. Because you gotta have a ton. I feel like Infinity Wars has to have just a butt ton of characters. And yeah, you're gonna establish more in Guardians of the Galaxy too as well. And it's good because it's gonna be space characters. But
I think Avengers Infinity Wars is gonna be a Guardians crossover.
Yeah, well it has to be. So, but yeah. Oh, the other thing is Hulk disappearing at the end.
It kind of looked like it was a nod to the whole thing, but
They were very, very specific.
He did not leave.
Right, and that was something that Marvel was very specific about. Do not leave the planet.
Small for most people.
You know?
Yeah. Because everybody wants it. Hulk.
Right.
Especially with Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, that was.
Who knows?
Maybe he's gonna be.
Yeah, could be. So, that is what we think. We would love to know what you think. I know this video is a little bit longer, had a little bit of technical difficulties. But, you know, Avengers Age of Ultron is in theaters now. And we hope you enjoyed our video. Is there anything you'd like to add, Eric?
Oh, I sure hope the world isn't plunged into
Hawkeye's
some
riding
terrible
the ship.
apocalyptic danger.
I love Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye song.
Oh,
To the tune of Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
Thinking Out Loud.
That was definitely.
That was great. Alright, well, alright, cool, man. I hate that I have to bring you to the airport in a couple hours. But,
I need to go back to work. I'm getting.
yeah, well, I feel like everybody should leave comments below telling Eric that he needs to move back up here so that we can make more Jay and Eric co-op specials, or that he needs to, like, at the times and figure out a way to do it from Florida. So, hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll... Oh, I hit your head. We'll see it.
What time you staying till?